Oh, you look stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Did you get a fresh trim?
No, my makeup artist is closed for obvious reasons. So my wife.
I know.
My wife. Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to make a coffee. Be right
Go
with
ahead.
you. All right. 1 second.
This sign on?
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, guys. So we're on episode 102 of Knifed Up podcast. My second guest, very excited to have Joey Morabito. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Stefano. Stefano, Steven, what's your official Christian name?
My official Christian name on my certificate is Steven with a V.
Okay, so no PH.
No PH, no Stefano. My dad wanted Stefano. My mom wanted Steven. So obviously the wife won. And
yeah, my dad wanted Giuseppe and my mom wanted Joey. So we got both.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my name is officially Giuseppe Joey on my...
both?
Officially, yeah. On my birth certificate, on my passport, on my driver's license. All official government papers.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? Giuseppe, Joey, Jay?
Dickhead's good. You can call me that if you want. No, anything. I don't really care. It depends who. Like some of my family calls me Joseph. Some of my friends call me Joe, Josie. I don't know, Pep, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Slew of names.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So I know you started. Okay, so obviously I'm a food lover like yourself. I know you love to cook.
Yes.
You worked in the food business for a while. So first, before we get into that, tell us, on your Instagram, your WGAF radio, Joey, what are you all about? What are you doing on social media, man? What's your goal? What's happening?
I am all about maximum level of silliness and ridiculousness. I am all about my type of humor, I guess, is the kind that people don't realize they laugh at until it's happening. Like you would never think something like that would be funny until you're watching and you're like, oh yeah, people do behave this way or do say stuff like that. So my sense of humor obviously isn't for a lot of people, but for those that do like it, I feel like it's right up their alley. And that's pretty much it. I just needed an excuse to be stupid somewhere. I needed to vent out my stupidity somewhere.
And this is something that you've had, obviously, like from a young age, I guess. You've been always a class clown or...
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you could say that. Yeah, I guess I was a form of a class clown, like one way or another. And I started doing this a couple of years ago, but then I kind of chickened out, so I stopped and I pulled the plug and I deleted all my videos and I just...
You deleted everything?
I had like maybe 6 or 7 old videos that I just deleted, and unfortunately they're gone. They're like...
Why, man?
They were like the lost WGAF files, I guess. Maybe they'll come out in 40 years. Someone's going to find them dug up somewhere. But yeah, I deleted them because I chickened out. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to pursue this, and I wasn't sure if I wanted like certain coworkers or like, family members to see that side of me. And then I figured like you can't always hide. It is who you are, and like I might as well just go full pin and see what happens. So I took it up again.
Yeah. And did you get in your first videos? What was the feedback you were getting from your friends, family?
Back in the day, really positive. People really seemed to like them, but I was never consistent and I never took it seriously. It was just like, I'm going to post something on Instagram because I should post something. So I did, but I was never like serious about it. I never made a schedule or anything like that. I was just like, okay, let's just post something. And people seem to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's always that, like, even for myself, like posting the, cooking videos and whatever it was, you always have that fear, like that judgment, right?
Of course.
Who's going to say this or any comments, negative comments, whatever it is. But you, at the end of the day, like you said, if you're true to who you are.
Yeah, it's who you are. Exactly. You can't hide that. It's not sustainable to hide that part of yourself away from the world. Yeah. You can't sustain that. It's going to eat you up inside. It has to come out one way or another. And so I'm glad you're doing it too. I remember when we first did our episode on me, I was looking at your page and you had some videos and some content that I found really funny, but there wasn't a whole lot of it, I guess, because at that point, maybe you hadn't like thrown yourself into it yet. You were just at the edge of doing that. So now I'm super stoked. Super stoked to see that you...
As Chef Jeff would say.
Chef. Oh, yeah. But yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Excited. Very excited for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's just take the leap and obviously the feedback and the support is what keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
Right back at you, man. Like you said before, maybe it's not for some people, but at the end of the day, I think you do it so well that people are questioning, is that how he actually speaks? Is that how he acts? That's how good you do it.
It's the best compliment I can get, man. Like, people are like, is this guy serious or not?
Yeah.
Like,
So for anyone that hasn't seen Joe's stuff, you got to check him out. It'll have his info in the bio, but it's WGAF Radio. So tell me, it's the first time you get this question, but what is WGAF? What is WGAF?
I'm glad you asked. No one ever asked me that.
Quite a thousand times you get to share this. So.
But it's good because I'm getting better at telling the abridged version of the story. Long story short, there was a guy in my life at one point who used to talk at great lengths about the wealth that he had and how he would be spending that wealth and the various toys he would buy and cars and TVs and all that stuff. And he would flex. It'd be a constant flex. And it got to the point where anytime he would come on, I would tell myself internally WGAF radio was on, meaning who gives a fuck that this guy's always talking. He was like the radio talk box, And then I just figured that it actually sounded like a real radio station. Like the call letters sound like a real, CJD or I don't know, whatever, Sequa or any of that crap. So I was just like, okay, I guess it can work for a fake, radio station.
Do you have one brag or one line that this person said that you remember vividly?
Oh, good question. Good question.
One flex that he used to.
Well, one flex I remember, we were at work and we weren't even talking anything remotely about cars, but then he just, in the middle of the conversation dropped a line that he's like, maybe I'll go buy a Tesla this afternoon. Like it just came out in the middle of the conversation. It was like, there was no opening for that. There was no natural segue for him to start talking about that. It just kind of
casual.
Yeah, it just naturally, weather's looking good. Maybe I'll go buy a Tesla today. So I was just like, the fuck is this guy on about?
The way we would think about getting lunch, like where we're gonna go for lunch, he thought about buying a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
$75,000 car.
Yeah, you want a Trio? No, I'll get a Tesla.
Yeah, awesome. I like it. So,
what about Martelli's Kitchen? What kind of name? Where did that come from?
Okay, so
hear me out, okay?
This is the idea I had, the vision I had. Okay. So my grandparents immigrated back in 1954 to Canada, right?
From Vietnam, yeah.
And go Vietnam, Venice, Italy, as you know it now. So my last name is Martelli, and it's the most, I think, generic and maybe as plain Jane as you can get it. 2017, I was in bed. I had my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and I was posting stuff on my personal page. Like, just start a cooking page, like all your food, post everything on that. It was like when Instagram started getting popular, right? There was a Facebook and everybody transitioned to Instagram. So I made the page, Martelli's Kitchen, and I just stuck with that, and very simple, easy to remember, I guess. So my goal is just to share, my food, what I made, and then if I wanted to go into catering after culinary school, I already had my name, my work was already showcased for clients to see what I can do. And
so let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first printed and stuck your logo, Martelli's Kitchen, on a container that you were then going to give to like a customer? What was that feeling like?
Oh man,
I'm going to go make a drop now of this food. Somebody paid for this, I'm giving it to them.
Yeah, that was the most rewarding feeling I ever had. Unlike anything else, like, when you're employed, you're working for a company, a corporation, and obviously you make that first sale, your name is on the board. You get that recognition. But when it's for yourself and it's your name, it's your brand, your face, and the work you put into that from the start to finish, you can't compare to anything else. It was an amazing moment, and I get that same feeling every time. Every time I make something else, a different recipe, package something, get a different type of packaging, all the little details get me excited. Yeah. So it's
creation, man. You're mentioning putting your name up on a board when you make a sale, which is great, but there's a feeling, I guess, like no other when you've created something and someone's gonna now like they want to share in that creation, they want to like help you out, they want to purchase it, like share it with their family and friends. Like there's something immensely rewarding about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. 100%. It's so like anybody that's considering, starting and selling their own products, whatever it could be food, it could be jewelry, it could be anything. I can't encourage that enough, like to do
Yeah,
that and see, you know, get that
absolutely.
feeling. So Joe, I have a couple of questions here I wrote for you. Okay. So
Okay.
let's transition in towards sort of food industry. I know you had worked in some different companies. So
Yes.
tell me when you first got started in the food industry.
I had no real passion for it when I got started. It was a job. I needed a job because where I was, like the contract was essentially over, so I need to find something else. And someone reached out to me on Indeed saying we have an opening for you at this, global catering company in marketing. Are you interested? And I said, okay, why not? And then I started working there, and I instantly like fell in love with the team there on the ground, who are even now some of my very good friends. And I learned so much about food on like a mass production scale because we had to feed like 900 residents
Wow.
at Concordia. So we had to learn, like, I had to learn about food on a mass, production scale. Again, I wasn't marketing, I wasn't cooking, but I still had to learn, like, let's say you have this idea where I was like, okay, I want the kids to make their own pretzels today in residence. They had to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to make and produce 900 fresh pretzels and then have all the ingredients to build your own or whatever. And it was like that for everything, like with sandwiches, omelets, whatever. Any food you can think of had to be produced on a mass scale.
Okay.
So then I learned in talking to all the chefs, all these cool things about food and like, hacks about, just kitchen stuff you would never even consider. And it was so immensely eye-opening and like satisfactory because at that point, like, yes, I really enjoyed eating it, and cooking really wasn't my thing, but I really liked to eat it. So when I saw how it was made and like all the thoughts and like energy and budgeting and all the reflection that goes into it before we just eat the meal, but you don't know what goes on up until that point for it to get there right in front of you. Like mass appreciation for that, mass appreciation for all like chefs and cooks and anyone who's in the kitchen, who's helping to run the kitchen, from the dishwasher to the runner to the garde-manger to the head chef. Like there's so many steps there, and I just fell in love with it. Like instantly, I was watching Chef's Table like on loop. I couldn't get enough of that. Kept watching that. Then I don't know. I was just hooked. Couldn't get enough.
How long were you there for with that company?
5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think 5 years. And then I liked it so much that I said, it's time to evolve out of marketing and maybe try your hands at actually cooking. So then for 6 months, I was at Pizzeria, the Vesta restaurant.
Oh
Vesta
yeah.
opened in
That's
July.
Stefano Faita and
Yeah, that's right. Michele Falgione's place, yeah. And Anthony Diore was the executive chef and part owner there. And he's a friend of mine, so he, had a spot available. We talked, he gave me a shot. And, in those 6 months, it was nothing compared to it was a night and day from the 5 years I spent watching somebody do it.
Yeah.
And then being on the line and getting tickets and pumping out dishes in perfect harmony with the people who are trying to get their like pizzas out at the same time,
Yeah.
Like that was a whole other level of appreciation for the industry. It's really something.
That's crazy because you actually got, like you said, you had a view of the behind the scenes, all the work, all the logistics that goes behind mass production.
Yeah.
And then you ended up being in the kitchen.
Yeah, in the juice.
Maybe not 900 clients in a day.
Very different. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, very different. But you're still you're feeling that adrenaline rush, the pressure of getting everything out on time, hot.
Yeah.
Obviously tasting good. And this, it has to be the same. Every pizza shape has to come out the same. The flavors have to be on point. The amount of oil, everything.
Consistency. It has to be the same now as though we're to be like 1,000 pizzas from now. It's got to look the same. Or like for me, for example, I was doing pastas and salads and several other like hot entrees, and like they had to look and taste and feel the same to the customer every single time, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it teaches you about standards and upholding standards, and then like your mise en place and being ready and not having to worry like, okay, I'm running out of food here. I got to go run downstairs and pick some supplies up. Like it teaches you about staying organized in the kitchen. And as my wife will attest to it, like I will often get angry at her when she doesn't have her mise en place ready. And she just starts, she'll go on Tasty and she'll see a recipe and she'll be like, I'm just going to start making this. And it's like, no. Melt your butter first and put it in a little dish so you're ready to put it in when it's time,
Yeah. So exactly like me. Do you use like 27, 28 dishes, plates, containers when you cook?
Yeah, pretty much. I try to, like some things, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I won't wash something if I just use it for salt. You know what I mean? If it's a container for salt, maybe I'll just like scoop it out with a cloth. I hope she can't hear me. But yeah, because I do dirty like so many various dishware and utensils and stuff. But it has to be what it has to be. I'd rather everything be ready, so I'm not scrambling at the last minute and screw up my recipe.
Yeah. To go back to Vesta. So how did the hiring process work? So just to share with myself too, I wasn't aware. Culinary school. I don't think you attended culinary school.
No.
Okay. So explain to me like the hiring process, how it worked, any training.
Okay, yeah. So basically, they had posted that they were looking for a garde-manger. I had gone there for supper one night and approached the chef in person. And like I said, we knew each other. And I told him that I had no hands-on, training of the kitchen, but I was in, a food environment for the last 5 years. And I did, from time to time at that company, I did have to, help prepare a dish, for example. Or one night I jumped on the grill just because I wanted to see what it would feel like. So I served the hamburgers on the grill. So I did like dabble here and there in various areas, but I was not in any way a chef or a cook. And he gave me a shot. He just gave me a shot on blind faith just to see what would happen. And when I started, I did have like significant training. I had his sous chef basically give me, all the patience and training I would possibly need. He didn't leave me alone on the station for, I think the first maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, and then finally, or rather 3 or 4 shifts was what I meant.
Okay.
And then that's it. Then they just, on my first night, they let me go. And I was heavily observed in case something went wrong. But yeah, they were super supportive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was let's say your day-to-day, a day shift? After your 3 to 4 shifts that they monitored, what was your day like? What was your process?
Basically, I'd get there, go downstairs, change into my uniform for the night. And then I had prepared a list on my phone of my entire mise en place. So I had a checklist on my phone of everything I needed for the night. And then I stocked my fridge with my entire mise en place, which would take me about an hour on average. So I'd get everything ready. If things had to get chopped, I'd chop them. If things had to get portioned, I would portion them. But more often than not, things were ready beforehand. So it was just a matter of making sure my fridge was stocked, putting it in my inserts, putting my inserts in my fridge, and then start cooking some of the slow cooking entrees. Like, for example, I would have to set the meatballs on at like 4 o'clock and let them slow cook for about an hour, let's say. And then anything else that needed last minute cooking, I would cook at the last minute. Like if I had to melt some garlic butter, if I had to like blanch some rapini super quick, that kind of stuff. And then from then on, it was service from 5 p.m. till then we close. We close at 10, and then clean up for an hour after that. Clean up your station, like wipe down your surfaces, clean your oven, take inventory of your fridge, make sure you have all your stock there, leave a note for the person the next day when they come in so they know right away. You have to portion some more penne, you have to blanch some more rapini, you have to shred some more parmigiano, like something like that, and just make sure that they're suited to start the next day without picking up after you or cleaning up your mess, or you're not slowing them down, you're helping them, work faster. And yeah, like I said, majority of the shift is service from 4 to, I can't remember if it was 10 or 11.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so for you were there, you said 6 months, right?
Yep.
Okay. So tell me, towards, I guess, the end of that, what were you feeling? Like, what was your feeling towards it? Like staying there, leaving, like where were you at?
It was a tough call. Ultimately, I thought to myself, I had to try. What I wanted to do ultimately is I wanted to try my hand at being in radio, in broadcast. So I was like, I need to try this now. I need to throw myself at this now in my life, because if I don't, then I don't know when I'm going to get the opportunity to do it again.
Yeah.
Like we don't have kids yet. We don't have any pets. So it's like, if I'm going to take this risky shot, it's going to be now.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, my mom, she needs a bit of a hand at her shop too. So I figured I'm not going to be able to juggle all 3 of these things. I can't like help my mom work at the restaurant, go to the radio station. It's going to be a little much. So I figured I'm going to take a little break from the restaurant for now. It was great, and I learned so much from being there. But if I can, throw myself wholly into broadcast or try my hand at radio and help my mom on the side, I have to try doing that now. Otherwise, I'm never going to do it.
100%.
It was a tough call.
Radio for you is what you like, your passion, I guess, right? It's more...
Yeah, it was always broadcast, like a form of entertainment. I mean, I had a passion for it from when I was really, really young, and I used to work in radio when I was like 20 or 21. But that was for also as part of my school program. And eventually I had to either stop my degree and jump into radio or finish my degree.
Okay.
And at that time, I didn't think that I didn't want to take any risks. So I was like, I might as well just finish my degree. You never know. So I ended up staying to finish my degree, and I wasn't able to go back at the radio station. So I'm trying again now.
Nice. Awesome, man. It's never too late, man. Like you said, right now, no kids, no pets. So you don't want to live with that regret. So
yeah, exactly.
For doing it, man. It takes a lot of balls to do that, to take the leap. So
yeah, I mean, like sometimes I'll talk to my parents and I see that there was some things that they wanted to do when they were my age that they put on hold for me and my sister, and it's like super admirable, obviously, and I'm super thankful that they had the generosity to do that for us. But like, I just don't want to get to a certain age and feel like, man, I really squandered like an opportunity, and at a certain time in my life, I want to make sure I gave it my all now. And even if I fail, I'll be totally okay with it because I know that I threw myself at it.
Exactly.
So yeah,
it's so much better than like, what if.
What if is terrible.
Horrible. Terrible. I don't want to have that at all.
No, it's nightmare fuel, man. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. So you did broadcasting 2021. Oh yeah, your degree. So what did you graduated?
Communications and marketing.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I find just like watching your content on Instagram and Facebook, you have so much personality for that to go to waste, as a line cook. You know what I mean? Like it's great to cook. It's great to have that passion in cooking, but at the end of the day, you should be your people person. Whether it's voice, whether it's video.
Yeah.
I think you have to be front and center, because too much personality, too much enthusiasm to go to waste. And
right behind my dirty chef's jacket. Yeah, maybe you're right. But I mean, yeah, I saw a lot of people were doing it, and I saw a lot of like great comedians, like Matthew Trifita, for example.
Oh yeah.
Cameron Geller and all these people that are getting up there and doing it. And I was like, man, I could do this if I really tried. Maybe I can't compete, but it's not a question of trying to compete with them. It's just a question of like, you do it for your niche, for the people that like enjoy you, and that's it. Just see what happens.
Exactly. I always tell friends or family that if they're a little down, or I don't know if I should do this or do that, the reason why most of the time, it's fucking comparison. Compare.
Terrible.
If you start comparing yourself to everybody else, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to take a chance, take a leap, and you're going to try to imitate people. It's not genuine. It's not you.
Exactly. You won't budge.
So fuck that shit. Do what's right to you, what's natural.
Yeah.
And the rest is going to come.
You're totally right. I messaged Citadel de Montreal.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But like in between both of my attempts at being on Instagram, I messaged him because I kept having this like desire to do it. But then I was like, let me ask a guy who is, comfortable making a fool of himself and who's comfortable in his own skin and like is good at what he does,
Yeah.
And I messaged him, I'm like, what made you decide to do this? Like, how are you comfortable doing this? Don't you ever feel like, oh my God, like, all these people are watching me, whatever. And he's like, you just have to be comfortable being stupid. Like, just an outlet for me. And if you want to do it, you got to be comfortable doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's totally right. Like, you can't be thinking like, oh my God, I look so stupid. This person's going to think this. Like, everyone has their way of being. If they don't like you, they're going to move on to somebody else.
Swipe, just next.
Swipe, exactly. It's not like it's not like every single piece of content that you put out is going to be remembered for all time, forever. Like if it's not good, they'll forget it. If it's good, they're still going to forget it.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. We live in everything, not only content, comedy, food, news, breaking news.
Yeah.
Like horrific news.
Yeah.
It'll be on. We'll talk about it for a day, 2, 3, and then
over. You're totally right.
There's so much noise and so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
Some good, some great, some garbage, but you don't have to worry about that. It'll take care of itself. And if you just focus on creating stuff that you love and you enjoy doing, the rest will take care of itself.
I completely agree.
So for you, Joe, what are I guess people in your life, or it could be people that are on TV that you see, any inspirations, whether it's for food or entertainment, comedy, that you look up to?
Yeah. Well, comedy, The Office played a really big part in my life. Humor, that like awkward, sort of self-aware comedy, making fun of yourself. Like, making fun of the situations you're in, like that always struck a chord with me. I always really loved that. For food, oh my God. Kenji Alt Lopez from Serious Eats. That guy is he's a genius for combining food and science and all the various minute details that everyone's wondering about when they're cooking. Like he answers all those questions, which is
That's awesome.
really amazing. This guy's changed the way I thought about food.
What's his name again? I'm gonna write him down.
Kenji Kenji Alt, like the Alt key on your keyboard, and Lopez Lopez.
I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, he's with the website Serious Eats, and he has his own book or food Bible called The Food Lab.
Is that the one you told me about the burger, the patty?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I have it here. I have the book on my shelf. That this book, honestly, it's my go-to cookbook for any questions I have about like braising, blanching, boiling, chopping, searing, barbecuing. He has like everything answered in that book in this one thick book.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this guy really changed the way I thought about food. Because I was actually looking online. I was on Reddit and I was on the food subreddit, and then people were asking like, where can I get? Because I had started looking into culinary courses because I was sold. Then I saw the amount of hours and the cost it would take, and I was like working full time, and my wife was doing her master's. We wouldn't have been able to pull it off. So people had asked, where can I get like an unofficial education, like in no way certified, but just like at least to teach yourself some cooking basics. And everybody was pointing to this book. And like, I see now why. It's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, honestly, there's cooks, chefs that have been in the business for years that'll tell you, you don't need culinary school.
Right.
I'm one of them that went to culinary school. I could say, listen, it's all in how you take and process the information, right? So for myself, I'm someone who is very, very receptive to getting new information, especially information that interests me, right?
Yeah.
And I try to listen twice as much as I speak. So for me, I loved it because I learned all the basics, like you were talking about, in food. So blanching, broiling, all the cooking techniques, your meats, your fish, your veg, making a stock from scratch, like all that stuff for me, the little things I enjoyed, I loved. And to say that it prepares you for the real world, obviously nothing will prepare you for the real world, even school, right? Even education.
Yeah.
But it does give you a good foundation. But if you are young, you're 17, 18 out of high school, and you're not sure if it's for you, I think trying maybe a summer job at a restaurant.
Yeah.
As a little helper, a cook, try to get one of the, a restaurant that you look up to, a chef that you look up to, maybe reach out and offer your, even working for a couple months for free, work the summer for free, just to get that experience.
For sure.
Free work, the chefs, the owners will love that. They'll take you in open arms as long as you're willing to to learn and listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the culinary school thing it's not a must. I don't see it as a must doing it myself. But again, what I loved about it is that I had 4 or 5 different teachers, different chefs that had 20, 30 years experience in the food industry.
Yeah.
So trying to pick their brain, ask them questions that you want answered, and they're willing to share. And for them, sharing their knowledge and their skills is what they love to do. That's why they're teachers. And there's so much to learn, and every chef is different. You're going to pick different things from each one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it can go either way. It's all in how you receive that information, how you take it. But you're going to learn everything on the actual, on the grounds in a restaurant, in a catering company, whatever it is you'd want to do. So
I would argue that everybody should, in their life at one point, I feel like anybody looking for like a part-time job, they should try a brief stint at a restaurant just to see, because like it's a huge part of everyone's life. Like food is a huge part of everyone's life, no matter what. No matter where you're from in the world, you're still eating 1 to 2 to 3 times a day, no matter what. And a lot of us like
6, 7, if depending who you're talking to.
Yeah, 6, 7, 10, whatever. But I guess, especially here in North America, like restaurants and going out to eat is a big part of our lifestyle, going to bars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like if anybody can, then to experience working in a kitchen or serving at a restaurant, just to gain an appreciation for the staff that are there and for what's going into making your food and just learning about food, because it's like, it's like putting your kids in swimming lessons. That's like a life skill. Like learning how to swim is a life skill. You're always going to need that no matter what.
100%.
And I feel like learning to cook should be something like that too. You're going to want to learn to cook because you want to take control of your nutrition. You want to take control of what you're eating. You want to take control of how you're preparing it. And then
You want to provide for your family. You want to, yeah.
exactly provide for your family, like host a night with your friends and cook like a nice meal. Like it's a really important life skill. So I feel like, you know, culinary school is like the next step to learning that. But at the very least, it'd be awesome if people can do like a short stint working in a restaurant or a bar or something like that.
Yeah, and we're lucky today. Like that was one of the things that even the chefs told us in our first couple of classes is that today compared to 20, 30 years ago, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have YouTube, you know, all the recipe videos. So all the work, technically 90% of the work is done for us. It's out there. Now it's how we interpret the recipes, how we do it ourselves, and you know, trial and error. Where back then they're going through books and recipes and they're trying and they're fucking up and they're starting from scratch again. So it's
the tools are there now.
The tools are there. It's if you're willing to use it and put the time
Totally right. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. You're right that years ago it was like you had text in a book, you had a picture, and like you can't ask somebody questions and you can't like send an email to be like, what did you do for this? Like you just have to hope to God you're interpreting everything correctly.
Yeah.
And just, you know, trying to recreate to your best what it looks and it smells like and tastes
on
like.
On a dirty napkin from 1940.
Use napkin, oil stained like sheet of paper. Like you're just hoping everything is going to work out.
Is that 500 grams or
500 cups or 500 mLs? What did you write here?
Oh yeah, that one class in culinary school. So we're two different classes sharing the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh man, speaking about like messing up the recipe, the class next to us made us, they were in the dessert module, a nice lemon meringue cake, beautiful meringue, nicely torched, even torch on it, golden brown, perfect. So they bring it to us. It was someone's birthday in our class. We did a happy birthday, the candle, everything. I was always the guinea pig. I was always the first one to go in for the first bite.
Right.
Everybody, the whole class would look at me, Steve, let's go, try it out. Okay. So I dig in, I dig into the meringue, dig into the lemon curd, go for the first bite. As I get to the graham crust, I bite into it. And what the fuck is this? Why does it taste like the salty sand fucking taste? They put salt instead of sugar.
Oh fuck! Oh my god!
It was the fucking worst. It was a fucking mind fuck. Like, you know when you start salivating before you're about to bite into, like, okay, you're expecting the sweet, the lemon, the sour,
fuck,
and you get salt. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, that must be so confusing because like you're really expecting a taste.
Oh.
And then you just get like fucking like switched immediately and you're just like, what is in my mouth right now? What did I just put in my mouth?
Yeah, it was horrendous. I'm like, what the fuck? They put salt. Like, what?
Was it on purpose or a joke or like was it accident?
No, they fucked up because the salt and sugar, they have the massive bins.
Oh my
next
god.
to each other. And I think the label must have been smudged or whatever the fuck it was.
That's it.
They scooped it up, fucking 500 grams of salt. There you go. Still have nightmares about that shit, man.
Everybody has to go through that once, I think, in their life to like never make that mistake again. To always like just dip their finger and make sure, okay, this is sugar, this is salt. Like that has to happen once, I guess.
Yeah, it took for like a good six months. I was always trying, even though it said sugar, even though it was in a sugar pack. I was like, no.
Up until you're about to pour it in, like it's in your spoon, just double checking. This is still sugar. It's not gonna switch on me like while I'm pouring it in.
Man. On that note, like, what's the worst? It could be by accident or it could be on purpose. What's the most messed up thing you've ever tried or tasted?
Oh my god, the most messed up thing. Honestly, I went to, I can't remember his name. I think it's Martin. I can't remember, the chef of Pied Cochon.
Yes.
Is it Martin?
It's Martin. Now it's hold on. His last name is Picard.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Martin Picard.
I went to his restaurant and we used to go once a season at the Cabana Cirque, right? And
you just reserve like a year in advance?
No, I don't think it was a year, but it was a good couple of months. It was at least like 6 weeks to 2 months or something like that.
Shit, okay.
And one of my buddies was on the wait list, so he would text like 8 of us to be like, guys, there's an opening. Do you guys want to go? And honestly, for me, it has to be foie gras.
Oh, yeah?
I can't do it. Like,
shit.
it sounds like something that would like obviously a lot of people enjoy it, but that for me is one of the things that I ate that I was just like, oh, like it really went down the wrong way, and like the smell of it, I can't consume it, can't do it.
Was it more like is it mind over matter? Like what was it like?
What was the taste, but also the smell on the dish.
Oh yeah.
It had made like a smell of like, you know when there's like egg residue on a dish, like there's that smell of like it was too much. It smelled too raw to me.
Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, like the like for it to be appetizing, it was like instantly gone away. So I lost my appetite to eat it. I still ate it because I was there and I was like, okay, I might as well try it. But man, it was hard. It was a tough one.
Yeah. I think it depends how it's prepared. I've had it a couple times. I haven't had it many times, but
yeah,
when I've had it, it was fucking good. Like I think we just seared it, or I think it was infused with maple syrup. That helps.
I think that's the one too that I tried, the maple syrup.
Oh, okay. Because I think he injects his duck with maple syrup.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, his food is honestly fantastic. Like the spread at those events is like, one of my friends, dude, I'll never forget this. We were there. We ate like, have you ever gone to the restaurant?
No.
It's insane. It's like it's a 7-course meal, and you're starting to eat at like 9:30 at night.
Wow.
So you're done. It's like 10:30. No, not 10:30. Sorry, it's like 11:30 midnight. So like you're eating super heavy, super fatty, super like decadent food that late at night.
Yeah.
One of my buddies was sitting at the table, was like, I'm not feeling so good. We're like, oh man, he probably overate and not used to this. He stood up, he took maybe 10 steps, and he just went down like a tree. Yeah. He's a tall dude, and he just went down like a tree. And we just heard like a bit of a commotion right at our table, and we saw a bunch of people like looking down the floor and crowded around. So we got up and we're like, holy fuck, he passed out. He passed out.
Holy shit.
And then the waitresses were like running to him. They were giving him sugar water. They're like, this happens a couple times a season here.
What?
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, just give him some sugar water. He's got to get his blood sugar back up.
It was normal. It's like, oh, we got another one.
They chalked it up on the wall, like days without incident. And he just collapsed from having eaten like such decadent and like food in this volume.
Sugar.
It was good food. Yeah, the sugar.
Blood sugar spiked.
The food is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome. But
you just can't eat. You just can't eat anything all day. You just
You basically, it's family style, so you choose like the portions you eat. And like I made sure to take like a bite or two max of everything.
Yeah, you gotta pace yourself.
Yeah, you gotta pace yourself.
You can obviously take stuff home, right?
Yeah, for sure. They give you like those tin pans.
Okay.
Just fill it with whatever's left and bring it home. One of the craziest thing I saw them do is they brought like an ice cream cake out, and then as they put it on the table, she uncorks a bottle of like extra virgin olive oil and pours it all over this ice cream.
What?
Crazy! She blew my mind, and we're all like, "What? How could this possibly be good?" It was unbelievable. Those two tastes of like fresh gelato ice cream and olive oil was fantastic.
Wow.
It was really something. So that's
one thing I keep seeing, like in cakes, olive oil cake, or even ice cream flavor, olive oil ice cream flavor. I keep seeing it, but I never tried it.
It's crazy. It's he really knows how to like marry like absurd flavors that you wouldn't think would go together, and make them like out of this world. It's crazy. Yeah.
He pushes really like to the limit without going, I guess, over, or maybe sometimes he goes over, but it still works.
But it's still he goes like in like uncharted territory for sure. But like it's he still knows that it's highly palatable and people are going to enjoy this. Yeah, and he's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
It's like maybe it's your imagination can't even go there. He just takes you there with his food. Like you can't even think of it's the unimaginable food.
You're totally right. 100%. It's like picturing another color. That's what it is for this guy.
Yeah.
He just knows like what could work and no one can fathom whatsoever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And okay, so that's yours. My most messed up thing I tried was in culinary school.
Yeah.
We had a lot of students from the Philippines, and their delicacy, one of the delicacies is balut. I don't know if you heard of balut.
I have a feeling I know what this is.
It's a half fermented egg.
Oh, no.
So they basically, they boil it.
A chicken egg?
Yeah. So it's a chicken egg that's half fermented. So it's half chick, half egg yolk, egg white.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When you say fermented.
Sorry, half like fetus.
Oh, you mean like in that sense of fermentation, like it's half developed.
Half developed. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think the term is fermentation, but I thought like fermented, like they left it out for like 10 days or something.
Like a sourdough starter.
Yeah.
No. So
God.
it was, they dared us. Actually, Louis Picciano.
Yeah.
So he was in my class, and they looked at us. The times, oh, you guys are not up for it. Like, we're up for this shit. Let's go. So me, Louis, all the Filipino students in our class, take the egg, you crack it open, take half the shell off. You see, it's horrible. The bottom is it's all cooked egg yolk, like a hard-boiled egg. Okay, and then halfway you have you have the little head.
No.
The neck, you have a little bit of fur.
No.
So they crack it open a bit. They add salt. There's a liquid in the egg. They chug that first. And then you start eating the egg, and you start eating the fetus. And
is there bones?
No, it's cartilage. The beak.
Oh my God, Steve.
Yeah. It was fucked up. It's one of those things you just fucking put it down the hatch, chew as fast as possible, chug a glass of water, and you're over and done with. But
so it's a hard-boiled egg.
Hard-boiled egg that's half fermented, half fetus. You could search it, balut, B-A-L-U-T.
But like a hard-boiled egg with salt already isn't like the tastiest thing. We can agree. Like,
yeah,
it's good.
It's okay. Yeah,
but it's a hard-boiled egg. Okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that with a fetus sounds terrible.
They love it.
But it's like they thought of a hard-boiled egg. They're like, how can we make this worse?
Yeah. To them, it's an aphrodisiac. For them, it's like oysters.
Oh my God,
messed up.
I don't know if I would be able to do that, man.
It was tough. It was the hardest thing to do. So that by far, after doing that, I'm like, anything else, like fucking, let's go. I'll try it, and I'm not scared to go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that still leaves me. Still haunts me. Fuck to say, just thinking about it, get the chills.
I could imagine. God.
Right, let's transition here. Let's take another.
Another avenue. Yeah.
So, Joe, there's a debate. Personally, myself, I don't consider myself a chef. I'm a cook. I'm a decent cook, but I'm not a chef. So, for you, what is the difference between a chef and a cook?
I feel like you are a chef, though. Okay, well, I feel like a cook. Okay, here's what I think. I feel like a cook cooks what a chef creates. I think that's my opinion. A cook is usually someone who you're giving the recipes to, and is executing what you're asking them to execute, and who's not so much creating yet. Is just more like knows how to cook and knows the fundamentals of cooking and is following the recipes that you're giving them. A chef for me is someone who's now like in the creation phase. So it's kind of like, I guess, a musician and someone who can play an instrument. That's kind of how I see it. Like I can play a guitar, for example, or I can play the piano. Can I compose an entire song? Probably not. It'll probably take me many years before I can start doing that. So I feel like that's the difference in a cook and a chef. If you're composing your own things, if you're composing your own flavors and creating your own like dishes and accompaniments and mains and all that stuff, I feel like you've gone into the realm of chef. That's why I feel comfortable calling you a chef, because like, those zeppeli I picked up from you, like you're not, that was your thing. Like you created those. We saw in the videos, you were like making the extracts necessary for the flavors. Like that's a whole other level.
Gotcha.
That for me, I think is the dividing line between two. I hope I'm not offending anybody by saying that. That's just how I feel like.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I was a cook for a bit. I would in no way have called myself a chef in a million.
Exactly. No, because there's a misconception. I think the word chef is being used very lightly today. Like not everyone, but a lot of people might consider themselves, I'm a chef.
Yeah.
But for me, even like I don't call myself a chef because I haven't, I think, put in the time in the industry. I haven't put in my head, 10, 15, 20 years mastering your trade. Like you said, developing, making your recipes, managing a team of other cooks, managing a restaurant, communicating with the owner, ideas. That for me would be a chef versus a cook. So I think there's a lot of cooks out there maybe saying that they're chefs, and people are just misinterpreting the definition of chef. So I'm asking all my guests to say, okay, what is your definition of, chef versus cook?
Yeah, I feel like what you're describing sounds like an executive chef, like someone who's a chef manager, someone who's like running a business. Like you said, they have a team. They're in charge of the inventory of the restaurant. They're in charge of the staff and all that stuff. That for me is an executive chef realm. But I feel like you don't. I feel like a person has to jump from cook to chef to executive chef. Yeah. So even though, for example, you don't have a team per se beneath you or whatever, you're not necessarily running like a massive restaurant. You're still running your business. You still have your menu, and you're still creating your recipes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, for me, like I said, hands down, I'd call you a chef like any day. There's no question. Gotcha. When it comes to like owning a restaurant, you're still a chef. It's just a different. You're also a manager, like a chef manager. So it's sort of a different.
Kind of managing people. You're managing schedules. You're managing. You're managing attitudes.
Yeah, you're doing sick people calling sick, replacements. Like you're doing a lot of cooking related things too.
Yeah, people
so that's
management.
why I feel like it becomes an executive role.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Like that. And for you guys, for you and your wife, what have you guys been cooking during this quarantine?
I've been trying a lot of doughs thanks to that starter. So I've been trying a lot of different doughs and breads and stuff. But we make a menu at the beginning of every week and try to like follow it more or less so that we can go do our groceries and not like scramble for stuff at the last minute. It's all part of the mise en place, man.
Yeah, man. It's all mise en place.
But we try to eat, like recently we've been making shrimp tacos. We've been grilling shrimp outside on the barbecue now that it's open, and it's so damn good.
What do you top it with, Joe? Give me a little breakdown. What do you top?
Yeah, I actually made my wife write the recipe down because it's her recipe and I don't want to forget it. She makes the marinade, which is I think it's paprika, lime juice, oregano, salt, pepper. I think a bit of Cajun seasoning, something like that. And then we marinate it for like a couple hours, put it on the grill, and then in the taco, she makes a purple cabbage coleslaw.
Okay.
And then we top it with feta cheese because the salt is just man, it's so good with the coleslaw, and avocado. Oof. And a bit of spicy mayo. Yeah. And it's like they're out of this world. They're so good.
I'm salivating her.
Yeah, she really she killed it with that recipe. A lot of pizza. Pizza is definitely my number one most favorite thing on planet Earth. Probably it's pizza. And burgers. We make a lot of those pan fried burgers there that we were talking about the other day.
Yeah. What kind of beef or what kind of meat do you use?
We use Wagyu. Yeah, I like to get like a really high fat content. So awesome. I go to the butcher and I ask for Wagyu.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So on that note, Joe, where, you said butcher. So where have you guys been, going shopping for your, supporting local markets? They've been putting their health at risk, these guys, for stocking our shelves. So yeah, share with us where you guys have been going.
So we go to Jean Talon Market down the street for like a lot of herbs and stuff.
Nice.
We'll pick up our stuff there. If not, we go to Provigo because we do have a Provigo really close by, so we'll pick up stuff there. We have a bakery down the street called Le Pain dans les Voiles that we'll pick up our bread at. There's a pizzeria like 100 feet from me, so occasionally maybe I'll pick up pizza from them, just that give them whatever, some form of support and show them we still want to order with them, and occasionally order with them to pick up stuff. Intermarché.
Yeah, same
stuff. Yeah, man, they got good stuff. They got really good prices too, and these people are there every day, like you said, stocking the shelves, making sure their food's there for us. So what else? Yeah, it's pretty much all I can think of off the top of my head.
And your butcher, where's your butcher shop?
Pascal Le Boucher on Saint Denis.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on Saint Denis, I think close to Jerry, if I'm not mistaken. And super nice guys in there. It's a team of they're like 5 or 6 guys. It's all open concept, so like they don't really have a back. Their back is their fridge.
Nice.
So everything's happening in front of you. They're cutting, weighing, packaging. Everything's happening right in front of you. You see them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All the butchering at the shop happens on the tables in front of you.
Oh, I love that. You see it's fresh. They're not hiding anything. It's there.
No. You go get the meat in the back. They bring it to you in the front, and they're slicing it in front of you. Like it's very clear what you're getting. There's no they're not duping you.
So you said it's called Pascal?
Pascal Le Boucher.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, on Saint Denis.
Awesome.
Yeah, really nice guys.
All right, Joe, listen, we're getting towards the end.
Yes.
Before we go, my friend.
Yes.
Any advice you can give to, it could be anyone that's looking to start their own page, their own content, whether it's comedy, it could be anything, food, comedy. They're making their own. I always go to jewelry because I know that's
people make their own jewelry. Yeah.
But anything, what advice would you give them to take the leap?
My advice is that people are very quick to forget. So if you feel like you're not doing a good job, or if you feel like you're being judged, or you feel like there's a lot of eyes on you, feel like you're not performing as well as you'd like to, get over that feeling and just keep doing it, because people will forget if something is not great, or people are going to be very forgiving as well. That's another thing I want to say. We are very critical of our own work.
Yes, 100%.
We are obviously, the famous expression is your own worst critic.
Yeah.
But I've never felt that applied more than now. Like in my life, I never really needed to apply to me, and now it's really applying to me. And I feel like, for example, Steve, you're gonna make Zeppelis, or you're gonna make a banh mi sandwich, and you're gonna let me taste it. And for me, for example, I will tell you, Steve, this banh mi is a 10 on 10. It's one of the best banh mi's I've ever tasted. Yeah. For you who's tasted, you're gonna tell yourself, no, I've definitely tasted better. I've definitely made better than this. And it's like, those are your standards. Yeah. And your standards as a creator are not the same standards as the people who are consuming your content and your creations. So you don't have to only put something out if it's 100%. It could be 99%. It could be 90%. It's just a matter of putting it out, getting used to that feeling of creating constantly and consistently, and then having that confidence to do it on a daily basis. And if it's not the best thing you put out, people are going to forget it, and they're going to still look forward to your next thing. Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing I had to understand and believe deep down before I started doing this again in my life. That was the biggest thing holding me back.
That's huge.
That's my biggest advice to people. Just go. Just do it. Don't worry about other people. They'll forgive you if it's not good. They're going to forget it even if it is good. So just do it.
100%. And on that point too, like you said, yes, there's so much content they're gonna forget if it's great or not so great. Yeah. But I think just by having the experience, by putting it out, every post you do is gonna get better and better and better and better.
Exactly, 100%.
Right? Like anything else.
Fine tune it too. You see, okay, they didn't like this as much. They like this a lot more, so you get to fine tune your content. If you're not putting it out because you're afraid of what they're gonna say, then you could never get to fine tune it. Yeah. So you have to put it out no matter what. And even the greats have content that's not super amazing. You have stand-up comedians that you see their content and you're like, his other stuff was better than this. Yeah. Everyone goes through it. So just do it.
Yeah, good. And I want to add something there as well. By doing it, by practicing, putting it out there, you're getting that experience. You're going to find what you want to improve on, what you want to tweak on. You get feedback from people if they like it, if they suggest something else. Yes. And surprisingly, people are very supportive. People are going to give you honest. And you can even ask. That's what I do. I ask people when they try my food or watch my videos. Yeah. Okay, great, you loved it, but I ask them, okay, don't sugarcoat anything. Tell me straight up. Did you genuinely laugh? Did you like it? Did you like the food, the sauce, the pasta?
Yeah, you need to know.
You need to know. That's how you get better. So
absolutely.
More doing and less talking about doing it. Just do it.
Yes, just less consideration and deliberation. Just go. Yeah. Like a Band-Aid. Man.
Yeah. So guys, whoever hasn't, like I said before when we started, whoever hasn't checked out Joey's stuff, I'm going to have his link in the description. WGAF Radio, hilarious content.
Thank you.
He has a bunch of different characters. Pick and choose which ones you love, which ones you dislike, but you actually, what it is, it's you hate that you love them so much. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that are very hateable that I do. There's characters that I hate, but I think it's the hating that gets people to like them.
Yeah, I think you got something there, man. Just keep it up. Keep putting up your content. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, man. I could talk about food for hours and hours. It's dangerous.
I know, man. That's why I love doing this, because it never gets old. Doesn't get boring. I love it. I can just talk about food, eating.
Yeah. So food brings people together like nothing else, man.
Yeah, especially in these times. I think we need it right now. So
hands down.
Awesome, Joey. Thank you, man. We will talk to you soon.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend.
Yeah.
Take care, man. Take care. Ciao. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button right here to stay up to date with the Knifed Up podcast. Thanks for your support. Until next time. See ya.